We're here at the Ways and Means Committee, and I'd like to call it to order. And at this time, I'd like a motion for the approval of minutes for April 22nd, 2024. I need a motion. Terry and Mr. Daniel. Any comments, questions? Okay, I need a vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed with a nay. Thank you. Okay, it's been approved. Let's move on to the informational items, and this is where the department members love to come forward and share what they have, and of course reminding you that we love to hear your did you know. Okay, and we'll start with our county clerk. I believe Brooke Somerville will be standing in place of Rachel Parker.
Hello.
Hello.
We actually have no updates in the county clerk's office right now.
Okay.
But my did you know is, did you know that our office used to run elections and now we don't?
No.
It's Elizabeth.
Didn't know that. I didn't know that. Well, thank you. Any questions or comments to Ms. Somerville? Thank you. Okay. And let us move on to our County Election Commission, Ms. Elizabeth Gannon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Update from the Election Commission office. We are working with WCBU to create a series of public service announcements that will be aired prior to the election season. I am also working with the CISA, it's the Cyber and Infrastructure Security Agency. It's a department of the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. They offer free security evaluations, so they will be on our premises next week to do that evaluation for us. Moving on to my did you know?
Okay. I had one question.
Of course.
Is that security, is that a request of yours, or is that something they do?
It's a request. So the Illinois State Board of Elections has partnered with CISA to give this opportunity to any election jurisdiction who is interested.
Great. Good. Thank you.
So my did you know today is, did you know that a voting equipment serial and seal number database is created prior to each election and is used for verification before any votes are tabulated? So each piece of voting equipment has a unique serial number. When the election database is loaded onto a specific piece of voting equipment, a tamper-proof seal is used to secure the data. So you've got a picture on the left of our Verity scan, which shows the unique serial number at the top. And then on the right, we've got an image of the tamper-proof seal that is put over where the election database is stored. These unique serial and seal numbers are recorded into a master database. The assigned voting location for each specific piece of voting equipment is stored in this database as well. So from this example database here, you can see the polling place on the left and the serial numbers and seal numbers recorded there as well. When voting equipment is deployed, election judges must record serial and seal numbers before the polls open and after the polls close. This is an example of their checklist that they would complete. And again, they would do this before the polls open and after the polls close. They are recording every serial and seal number for each piece of voting equipment in their polling place. Upon return to the Election Commission, before any official results are tabulated, the master database is used to ensure the serial and seal number match for each location and individual piece of voting equipment. So this is a picture of our Commissioner Brady verifying serial and seal numbers with his fellow commissioners. So by creating a master database, recording these numbers in the field, and verifying prior to tabulation, there is a chain of custody for each piece of voting equipment.
Okay. Wow.
Any
Very
questions
impressive.
on that?
Yes. Now, the election judge, that person has to sign off on this particular list the sheet that you had there.
Yes, so
Before
in
and
each
after.
polling place, there is a group of election judges, anywhere from 3 to 10, depending on the size of the polling place, and every election judge assigned to that location has to sign off on it.
Everyone, irregardless. Oh, great. Good to know. Okay. Any questions or comments?
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Let's moving on to our supervisor of assessment. Mr. David Ryan will not be here, but I believe Mr. Chad will be speaking instead.
Hello, I'm Chad Jones with the Supervisor of Assessment Office. Update for the tax cycle, where we're at right now is the township assessors are getting done with their work, and they are sending changes that they have. 2023 was a reassessment year for us, so in 2024 we're just having to look at demos and new constructions and things that have changed. And so they're sending that to us so we can kind of get the start to get the assessments finalized. The other thing we're doing now is getting information from the state, from the sales ratio study, and the state takes all the sale prices that we report to them, and then they do a ratio study to let us know where the fair market values are compared to our assessed values. So that's the point we're at right now. Did you know, I guess the sales ratio study is kind of an interesting thing. When we're talking about assessed values, our office is kind of like analysts. So by state law, we're supposed to have the assessed values as 33 1/3% of fair market values. And so the state does this big study and lets us know how close we are or how far from that we are. And with everybody knows the real estate market's been going crazy the last few years. The state looks at the previous 3 years, so 21, 22, 23. So the sale prices have been going up, and so have assessed values, and we'll continue to do so. 2024 looks like a strong year for sale prices so far as well.
Yeah, that evaluation, if it's too far off, the adjustment, how soon would it need to be made? You know?
We look at the state information and try to make any adjustments at the township level or at the county level. If our numbers are off a little bit, or if we don't quite get to this range that the state needs, at the very end, the state can come in and put a number or a factor on the whole county. And sometimes they have to do that, but we try to avoid it, because if the state comes in, among other things, but if the state comes in and puts a factor on the assessed values at the end, it doesn't give the taxpayers an opportunity to take, an appeal to the board of review, because it happens after that process. So we try to get our assessed values where they need to be before the board of review process. So.
Good to know. Good to know. Any questions or comments for Mr. Chad? Thank you. Okay. We now will have our treasurer, Ms. Nicole Bierke.
This chair is really low. As you know, our due date was just June 4th. It was a successful due date. We were extremely busy with lines out the door again. A lot of people seemed to like to pay with cash, so that was crazy. We did have a few instances of counterfeit too, so we had to get the sheriff's office involved, but it all turned out okay. As you also know, we went with a new vendor for our credit cards and electronic check payments.
Yes.
And that was a big success. Last year, through the due date, June 6th, we had collected a little over $13 million in credit cards and electronic checks. This year, through June 6th, it was 25.4 million.
Mm,
So we almost doubled what it was.
great, good.
The electronic checks were about 84% of the transactions, and that cost each taxpayer that made or that used that convenience $1.
Mhm.
So it saved them gas. Postage is 65 cents, and with the changes in the post office and stuff, I highly do not recommend using the postal service for tax payments.
Mm,
We had our first distribution June 20th, and we had actually collected about $194.3 million in taxes. We posted in DevNet and made available to distribute 171.8 million, but we have about 17 taxing districts that do not want their first distribution in June. They want it in July because that's when they start their fiscal year.
mm,
And so with that, we distributed $141.5 million to 150 or 130 something taxing districts, taking out those that didn't want the June distribution.
mhm.
So this next distribution, which is July 8th, we will catch up those districts with that money. With this distribution we just had, we did $2.8 million in railroad distribution and 5.3 in garbage fees to the city.
Good, good. I do have a question in regards to that. You mentioned the cash, those who, they actually bring in cash to you, and then now, is there a system, a place where you deposit that right away, or is it,
So we have a currency counter that we use to count the money so that we don't have to hand count it.
yes,
And then at the end of the day, we balance it and we have a big vault.
yes,
And we put it in the vault and lock
Great.
it up for the night. And then Brinks usually comes the next day.
good to know, good to know. Okay, any questions or comments? Okay, and did you know?
My did you know? My did you know is today I have a full staff. Yay.
Okay,
At the end of August, I will not, unless I'm able to hire someone. I'm losing a long-term employee to retirement. One of my bookkeepers, she's been with us for about 18, 19 years. She has decided to retire. So our job is posted.
mhm.
So if you happen to know somebody that's a good bookkeeper or wants a job or a fun office, we have way too much food sometimes, but we have a good time.
Good to know.
Okay.
Yeah. Normally, is there someone always in training during that when you went in expectations of a person moving on?
Well, for the longest time, we didn't have turnover. I mean, our staff was very long term, and then one retired, and then after that, that one's been kind of a revolving door because of COVID and issues and working from home and things like that. We are attempting this time to hire somebody before she leaves.
Great.
Because two of my staff members are about a month old
Yes.
as far as training, so maybe a little bit over a month. They got really thrown into the fire with the due date, but
Yeah.
they did a wonderful job.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it'd be really nice to have somebody for the second, because she's leaving right before the second installment due date.
Okay.
It'd be nice to have somebody that can
In
at least
place.
fill the shoes of taking payments.
Sure. Sure. Any questions, comments? Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. We now have the Veterans Assistance Commission. Let's see, I don't see Mr. Brooks here, or a representation. All right. Well, I'll just make a little comment myself. I did attend their open house, which was Friday, this past Friday. Beautiful, beautiful facility. So was Jimmy. Mr. Jimmy was there, our chairperson, and Nate. And it was a place to see. If you all still have an opportunity to go see it, they are well represented there. It tells us that there is a great need and an increase of our veteran service. So again, this simply demonstrates that we appreciate our veterans and we're working to provide as much as we can for them. Okay, that's my spiel. Okay, anything else? Okay, let us move on to our I believe our resolution, let me see, just to make sure. Okay, we have a resolution for monthly delinquent taxes for the month of June 2024 with 2 items. I need a motion to bring it to the floor. Ms. Sharon and Mr. Matt, any comments, questions? Okay, all those in favor, vote aye. All those opposed, nay. Okay, the ayes have it. Okay. Okay, and we also now have a committee action, and I need a motion to bring that to the floor. Mr. Daniel, and did I see another hand? Ms. Sharon, thank you. Okay, Ms. Cheney.
Thank you. It remains a recommendation of the state's attorney's office that all previously held minutes continue to be held because the need for confidentiality still exists, and to destroy executive session audio recordings that are more than 2 years old, except for those that relate to pending litigation.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I do have a question. In that regards, when you speak of, there he is, speak of destroying documents, even though I know they have reached their time frame, how do we know at some point in time it really is critical that we need those?
We do not destroy documents. We are destroying the audio recordings.
Just the audio. Okay,
Yeah.
Good to know. Okay, great.
The minutes will always exist.
All right. My misunderstanding. Thank you. Okay, all those in favor, let us vote aye. Aye. All those opposed, let's vote with a nay. The ayes, okay, we have it. Thank you very much. Did I see Mr. Brooks come in, or no? No, okay. All right. And are there any public, you said, are there any public comments? Anyone? Okay. There are none. Miscellaneous? Well, that's with a question mark. Are there any miscellaneous? No, there are none. This meeting has been adjourned. Thank you.